Do you want to save your startup from failing in terms of development, the project development, and technical aspects? Keep watching this video, and we are going to cover the important points in a way you can hire best developers even though you do not have a technical background. Hi guys, my name is Deep, and today we are going to discuss one of the most important aspects in your startup journey, the initial part of software development, and how to hire the best developers and avoid mistakes in hiring the developers or a dedicated company to outsource the project. The most difficult part for a non-technical founder is to choose the technology in which they need to develop the project. And even if they know that, the most difficult part after that is to find the resource and filter them. Choose that who are the best resource and what level of knowledge is required in developing the project. There are three main aspects you need to consider while you are finding the resources and before you plan resources. One is the time development, the cost, and the process they follow. Once you figure out this, you are like 20% in the process timeline and the resources, because you know that how much you want to spend, you know how much time you have, you know what process you need to follow and what process you expect from the development team. Many times we have seen startups to fail miserably, and the only reason is the mistake they do in hiring the resources or outsourcing the project to a particular company. There might be the reason of lack of knowledge, lack of resources, or even just a communication gap between the developers and the resources. That is one of the main reasons I thought this video, because I wanted to help startups to make sure that they find resources based on their requirement and not waste money. That is very important, right? Because you are just starting off and you are wasting time and money on development teams and developers just due to lack of knowledge or poor communication. So this video again, this video is all about the things you need to know to hire the developers and resources for your project. Let's find out the top reasons why startup fails so that you get a base of the process and how things work and how you need to avoid to make sure that you get a success. Point one, poor execution. Now, consider a situation that you have hired a team of developers who have good amount of knowledge to develop your project. They know what to develop, the communication is good, but the execution is bad. There are 7 resources working, 4 developers working, 2 designers are working, a QA is working, the team is perfect. But the execution of the development, that really went well. So what happened is that things get messed up. And due to that very reason, even though you are spending money at the right place, at the right time, on the right resources, but things are not executed properly, and then you see the end output, it's a complete failure. Point 2, the real-time bug solving capacity. You had it. They developed the project very perfectly fine. It is up and live, it's running very good. But it's really important to know that a software can be without bug. Even if you talk about Facebook, Google, or any other company, you'll regularly see that there are bugs in the software. So while people are using the software, they find bugs, and you need to act on that bugs really fast. Because it's a live application, people are seeing the application, people are using the application. But now you had a team of resources who completed the project, who delivered the project to you. Now you go to them that, okay, these are the bugs which have been faced, and they don't have the resources. And that is very normal because they completed the project, they assigned the resource to the project. But you need to make sure that you get into a commitment that for a period of time, you get all the bugs solved, and that within 24 hours of time, so that your users do not find it difficult to use the system. Now this is again a miserable step or a miserable situations when you can't solve the bugs on time, even though you know that these are the bugs, these are the issues live users are facing, but you are not able to solve the issue. This is one of the again more important point due to which many startups fail. The third one, and the most silly one I would say, is the communication gap. You had a team of resources who are really honest people. They want to work dedicatedly for you, they want to deliver the best things for you. Now it's neither your mistake nor it's their mistake. You communicate things perfectly based on your knowledge. They understood the things perfectly based on knowledge. But due to the lack of communication, what happens is that the final output is completely different. Now when you see the things, you get a situation that, okay, this is not what I expected. Now the cost was provided to you is something based on what they understood. They are in a situation that they can't do more development and you can't do more. And that period, if you can't manage it perfectly fine, you go towards a side where you don't want to be on. So this communication gap can be fulfilled by perfect documentation. So when you get things done developed by companies like Ibexo, you get complete perfect documentation for the whole project. On an average, any project we take, the documentation is ranging between 50 pages to 250 pages. Even the smallest project have 50 pages of document. So this avoids the communication gap, or I would say this minimizes the communication gap. There are so many more points which we can cover, but these were the three most important points. Now, let's move to the next phase in understanding that what you should take care of while you're hiring a team, whether it's an fixed source project or you're hiring a dedicated team to develop your project. Point 1, methodology. You might be expecting the development to be done in a particular way. The developers planned it in a different way. To make sure that you guys are on the page of understanding. You are expecting the same methodology which you are developing in. So this makes sure that you are developing things in the right direction, in the same process, and both parties are on the same page of understanding. Companies like Ibexo, again, you get a proper guidance on what methodology in which the project would be developed. You know whether it's a waterfall model, whether it's an agile model, or how we are developing the project for you. Or we change it based on your requirement. This avoids any communication gap. This avoids any trouble in deciding the development process. Design process. Design is a very important, because that is what the users see in the very first place when they open your web application or mobile application. So it's really important to process the design in a right way. First starting with wireframes, then implementing the regular UI, then getting an UX, and then getting it implemented in a live application. Make sure that you get the design in a perfect way possible so that it meets your requirement, and also make sure that it is designed flexibly so that in case you want to change it, it becomes really easy. Development framework. Again, whether it's a dedicated resource or an outsourced project, you need to make sure that you are choosing the right framework for the development in a technology you want, so that the further changes, further implementation becomes really, really easy. To know more about the same space of hiring dedicated resources, see the link in the descriptions and the link above here, so that you get a perfect idea with a couple of videos in the same genre to understand the process of hiring and make sure that you don't make any mistakes. Coming to the next point, cost and location. Now, this is very tricky point. We are having a dedicated video for this, but this is just a small brief. You can get a resource hired in $15 per hour. You can get a resource hired in $50 an hour. You can also get a resource hired in $100 per hour. And all of them are in same set of technology, and all of them might have similar set of experience. This is usually really confusing, right? So how you can decide that? You can decide that based on the complexity of the project and based on the complexity of minor to major task in the whole process of development. Say for a situation, you are hiring resources from companies like Ibexo. You can get a dedicated resource hired in a range between $3,000 to $4,500 based on the experience you need. You hire the same resource in a very small company, you might get it in $2,500 to $3,500. You go to a major companies like Infosys, TCS, you might get the same resource in $6,000 to $8,000 to $10,000, right? So what's more important is to filter out the resource by interviewing them to see that if they are sharing the same vision, not just the development process, but understanding the output, what the application is made for is really important. The next point is choosing between hiring freelancers versus hiring resources from an agency like Ibexo. Now the problem in hiring freelancers is that you get to do all the agreements with all the resources. You get to do the non-disclosure agreement and legal agreement with all of them, which is really problematic because you don't have a lawyer here, you don't have any resources here to manage the same. Now hiring resources from companies like Ibexo, it of course becomes a little bit costlier because we are getting the same resource you want. But we complete all the formalities. You just need to do one NDA with the company, you just need to do one legal agreement with the company, and things are sorted out. So if you are planning to hire resources or if you have a fixed cost project, link is in the description. Share the details, or you can get in touch with us at sales@ibixer.com, or you can reach me personally at +91 99137 96777. The same line is on WhatsApp and direct line. Stay tuned with Ibixer, subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video. Signing off from Ibixer Studios, my name is Deep.